Hey everybody, Jessica Levinson in for Harry. I'm a professor at Loyola Law School and host of the Passing Judgment podcast. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the ongoing trial involving longtime journalist E Jean Carroll. And she is suing the former president, President Trump, in court. It's a civil case. It's in federal court, and she's suing him for defamation and sexual assault. And I want to talk about how the case came to be and what is going on right now in the case. So E. Jean Carroll claims that Trump, way before he was president, back in 1995 or 1996, raped her in an apartment store in New York. And she made these allegations much later in a book and in a magazine. We are brought to this case because of the way that the former president denied those claims. He said first when he was president, and then again after he was president, I didn't rape her. She's just making this up. She just wants money. He said she's not my type, which is an interesting defense when you've been accused of rape. And that's what the defamation case here is based on. The defamation case is based on Trump saying, I didn't rape her. She's just in this for the money, and she's not my type. It's basically his denial. I'm paraphrasing here, but it's his denial that is the basis of the defamation claim. Now, to prove defamation, you have to show, in this case, that Trump made a false statement about Carroll that harmed her reputation, and that he made it with the requisite state of mind, which in this case would be actual malice. Now, truth is a defense to defamation. So defamation claims can be kind of a backdoor way of litigating sexual assault claims. But there are actually two claims here. One of them is defamation, and another is based on the New York Adult Survivors Act, which is basically this New York law that gives people one additional year to bring a civil case for certain claims of sexual assault that are just too old, meaning the statute of limitations has already run, and they couldn't otherwise bring these cases but for this new statute that gives survivors and alleged survivors an additional year. So those are the two claims at issue. E. Jean Carroll has a phenomenal legal team, and I have to say, I think they are outmaneuvering Trump's legal team at absolutely every step of the way. Her lead attorney is Roberta Kaplan, commonly known as Robbie Kaplan. She is known for many things, but one of them is arguing the Windsor case, which was the case before the Supreme Court, where the Supreme Court struck down the Defense of Marriage Act. And she's long been an advocate of equality rights, and she's very well known in legal circles. I was just reading some of the reporting of what's happening in the courtroom today. And again, I have to say, it just looks like at every step of the way, she is outgunning Trump's legal team, who I find to be not particularly impressive just based on the reporting. And that brings me to really something I wanted to focus on with you for a moment, which is that Trump's legal team, in this case, I think it's inescapable that their tactic is just to blame the alleged victim here, E. Jean Carroll. So we've had two big witnesses. One was E. Jean Carroll herself, and another we just concluded with a witness who's a psychologist, a witness for E. Jean Carroll, who testified about trauma and trauma responses. And obviously we don't have time to go through all of the testimony, except to say that I think the theme from Trump's side and from his lawyers was, she's lying. You don't really react this way if you are raped. And they pointed to a number of reactions that E. Jean Carroll had that were supposedly inconsistent with being a victim of rape, like she laughed afterwards, or she was able to watch The Apprentice afterwards, or she was able to go back to the department store afterwards. And I think what E. Jean Carroll did, and what the psychologist who testified on her behalf did, was really explain why her responses are entirely consistent with a trauma response, and that different people reacted different ways. And I thought the psychologist was particularly persuasive in explaining how the brain reacts to trauma. and why what we might expect or what we might have seen on TV, like somebody screaming. There was a good deal made by Trump's lawyers of the fact that E Jean Carroll didn't scream during the alleged rape, that all of that could be entirely consistent with a trauma response and with how the brain reacts to a situation like a sexual assault. So now what's happening in the trial right now is we're going to hear from E. Jean Carroll's sister, and the judge, Judge Kaplan, no relation to Roberta Kaplan, has said that he thinks the jury will be able to get the case early next week. So that's where we are now, and we will keep you updated.
Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.